Okay. All right, awesome science students, welcome to our pig plug activity. If you missed today, this is kind of what we did. We just showed the anatomy of a pig plug, and really what we get from here is we have our trachea moving into the lungs that surround our heart, a little bit of the intestines here, and we have our liver. But we're going to talk about these parts all together. Okay, so let's start with the trachea. If you were in class when we did the digestive demonstration, you knew that we talked about having an esophagus here. This runs along the back side. We know that's the esophagus because it's made up of muscle. It doesn't have all the cartilage, and it's not ribbed like your trachea is. So it's really easy to tell those two apart. And then on top of that, we have our epiglottis here, which will either cover up the esophagus when we're breathing or cover up our trachea when we're eating, okay? So our food can go down the right tube. And it's cool to see this just run along down into our lungs. Let's move over to this one right here. This is just our trachea and lungs. This is the back side of your lungs. It's really cool to see all these things running through here. These are called, I might pronounce it a little bit incorrectly, but they're brachials or brachioles. I can't remember exactly how people pronounce it. And at the end of these, we have our alveoli, which is responsible for our oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange. So it's pretty cool that you can see those really well. Kind of just the branches coming through. And if you remember from our assignment, it also said this is a large spongy sac, so it kind of looks like sponge, feels like it for sure. Let's move that over to this side. Let's show you guys what it looks like when we can pump up the lungs here. Okay. So, you notice it gets nice and pink when we get all that oxygen flowing in there, and it kind of goes back to this reddish color. Let's pump it up one more time to show you that. So kind of awesome to see that. And if we come and look at these lungs, maybe just this bottom portion, we haven't pumped as much air through this. So you can see this is really red. Doesn't look quite as healthy, but that's just because we haven't pumped as much air through these lungs as we have this one throughout the day. So that's just a cool little thing to see. So moving away from our respiratory system, let's go to our cardiovascular, but really all we have is the heart right here, which is very important because that's what pumps all the blood throughout your body. And we obviously they have this divided into a left side and a right side of your heart, okay? But we took a heart and just kind of cut it through half of it. And it's cool because we can see these valves that run through the heart, or that are inside your heart, I guess I should say. And they're connected to this muscle right here so that they can open and close the valves. Because our hearts and our blood, like our veins and circulatory system, only wants to pump blood in one continuous direction. They don't want it coming back into where they're just trying to pump it out. Yeah. Oh, you're good. So yeah, we've got these cool valves right there. And as you can notice, this left side of our heart is a little bit thicker than this right side, and it's because they have two different jobs, okay? And I'm gonna pull out this heart right here that we cut just a little differently, okay? So you can really see the difference in thickness here. This left side of the heart is very thick because it works a little bit harder and because it needs to pump blood throughout your whole body here. And again, you can see those cool valves. But yeah, it pumps blood to the whole body on this side, and this thinner side, the right side, will pump blood only to the lungs. And that's where we get the oxygen from. They'll pump the blood right into there to get the oxygen so that it can then come back into this side and pump it through the rest of the body, which is pretty awesome. It's good for us to have that, okay? And throughout all this, we have all this white tissue. If you remember, we talked about 4 different main types of tissue that humans have. We have muscular, which we see with our heart. We have nervous tissue, which I don't think we really have much of that you can see on here. We have connective and protective tissue. And this is actually our connective tissue, kind of holds all of those into place, which is really good. And this is what it looks like when we just rip it all out, so you can see all that fun stuff. Yeah. And going to the last little bit of organ that we have, this is our liver here, okay? It's got 3 lobes, and our liver is really important because it does a lot to detoxify the blood in our body, and really helps us out. And it also has this nice, ugly yellow thing, which we call the gallbladder. And your gallbladder will produce some bile that it can then send out into your digestive system, especially when you are eating like fatty, greasy food. This will send it out there so you have a better chance of digesting that. And you can get gallstones, which are similar to kidney stones, and those aren't very fun. So they can actually just take this out, and you won't get more gallstones, but your body really doesn't want to eat greasy food after that. So that's a quick rundown of what we did for the pig plugs today. So hopefully we'll see you guys next week. Have a great day.